Alright, so in today's video, I got the Platinum Trophy on the original Infamous game that came out in 2009. And we even played its original version because it's available on the PS5 through PS3 streaming. The worst possible thing PlayStation could have done to get these games on the PS5, but it's fine. Anyways, yes, I did play the newest Infamous game a few videos ago. And since you guys enjoyed that one so much, I thought, hey, why not do my usual thing and just play them all out of order to anger the gods above. But in total, there is 50 trophies, including the Platinum on Infamous. And it takes much longer than the newest Infamous game to Platinum and also has a lot more grindy trophies. Anyways, this is also a part of a challenge where I've been trying to Platinum over 100 games suggested by the community. And if I can't complete them all before the channel hits 850,000 subscribers, then I have to shave my head and look like a base character from a video game. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. But stage 1 to getting the Platinum is to just do a good playthrough and also do every single collectible trophy that you can. So it's nearly the identical method from the last game I played in the series. But the game actually picks up instantly when you launch it, throwing you into the story. We watched as Empire City had a massive explosion take place full of electricity, and then the one guy in the middle of it that was left was Cole, the main character we play as today. You then run through this completely destroyed area because it's still being blown up. Occasionally you also run into electricity, and we see how Cole can control it now with his newfound powers from the explosion. Finally, we reached a bridge and our boy Zeke was across it yelling at us to run over to him, but when we tried to, all hell broke loose and it was just chaos, which led Cole into passing out upon arriving at his destination, much like that DoorDash driver I had a few days ago. Hope he's okay wherever he is now. The game then played the first of many comic book kind of style cutscenes, and these are a ton of fun because they look great for one, but also explain the story way more in depth than the actual game does. But overall, we learned that the city is just now in ruin. There's a plague that has come from the explosion and thousands of citizens are either dead or infected. The outside world is also struggling from a plague because of Empire City, but seeing as the city was the hot spot, the government just threw a biohazard containment around the city, and essentially everybody is trapped inside. And there is crime, killings, and bad stuff around every corner of the city now. It's like a massive hot pot for crime with no way out. So it's basically Detroit. But finally we awoke as Cole again, and Zeke is like our guy in the chair for this game for the most part. He also had us do a little bit of power practice on the home base apartment roof we got going on, and then we took the practice into the real world. The first thing we did was then climb a tower in the middle of the city that had a supply drop from the government stuck on it, with citizens below starving in need of the drop. So we climbed up and shot it down. However, upon doing so, the Reapers showed up, who are the first version of enemies in the game. So we also had to take care of them. But after, we got posed with our first of many good or evil moments. You could either execute the citizens and take the supplies for ourselves, or let them have it. And I chose the good option because this is the good run, which then gave me the first trophy of the game for that choice. Trish is another character of the game, and she talked to us after because she's one of the leaders of the people or some bullshit. But she's also like the love of Cole's life and currently hates him because every time they try to get intimate, he zaps her, so yeah, that's kind of a valid reason. The next trophy I got was then only a few minutes later, and from performing the first stunt of 21 inside of the stunt list. One of the most annoying trophies of this first stage, and I had a breakdown doing those in the future. But for now, performing one of them is almost impossible to miss. In fact, it definitely is impossible to miss. But the one I did was from shockwaving an enemy off of a roof for a high fall kill. And then the trophy would pop a few seconds later due to the PS3 streaming delay. Don't we all just love that? That's what I'm saying. Anyways, the story then led us to another mission with a good and evil choice. It had us with a bunch of rioters on a bridge trying to get to the other parts of the city and hopefully out of it, but standing in our way was a bunch of policemen refusing to let anyone through. So we had to fight, and you can either shoot them on your own off to the side or shoot them from within the crowd, which would kill more citizens. So I chose the good option again, and then we just committed mass manslaughter. But it's a free country, I guess, so it's fine. And then the good trophy popped as well. The story then did have us traverse through the bridge, which just had a ton of one-lane combat with enemies until reaching the ending of it and seeing a very solid barricade with people behind multiple turrets. A cutscene then played and we got some massive story changes. First of all, they f***ing executed a lot of people, or if those were rubber bullets, a lot of people's faces are gonna look all messed up for a hot minute. But then we watched as Cole got dragged into confinement and we met a very crucial character named Moya, cousin to Moana from the Disney Channel. But she's like this FBI agent, behind the curtain, dark entity trying to take control of the situation in Empire City, and basically we had to agree to be her little errand boy bitch or else never see the light of day again. So once we did agree, she just dropped us below the bridge to be the sole person who could continue on. So now we get to do a lot of parkour, as you can see. In my opinion on this game's parkour is not very high. I think I've actually seen better parkour from the American Ninja Warrior Kids Edition show, if that says anything. Anyways, next trophy I would get in the game didn't come for a while. Can't relate. And that's partially due to the story story being a decently length game. But also, I did go off and do some side content because I was under the assumption that we wouldn't be able to return after the story finishes, which was a dumb assumption because, I mean, you can. Don't ever assume. That's good advice right there. But I did end up doing this mission on a train, and we had to escort it through the city, all the while dealing with a bunch of crap like enemies, cars in the way, and it's actually a tad challenging because shooting enemies on a train is not as easy as it sounds. But once we finished that, the people on the train treated us like a hero for once, and we even got a pat on the back. Also, another trophy for good actions popped after. And while doing more side content after that main story moment, I ended up reaching my 10th stunt for another trophy. And the stunt I performed as my 10th one was from precision shooting an enemy while rail grinding. Sounds like prom night, and here it is. I then got a trophy a while later from collecting 25% of the blast shards in this game, which I was using a map for and crossing out as I went because the game does not show them at any point at all, which is insanely annoying, but 2009 had bigger problems, I guess. And seeing as I am doing side stuff right now in this first area, I also got a trophy from getting all of the dead drops in the first district, which is the Neon District. A dead drop, by the way, is just a little lore thing for this game's storyline, and since side content gives you XP for grabbing it, whatever it may be, I had enough to fully upgrade a line of power upgrades. And I did, which was yet again another trophy pop. But then finally I returned to the main story, and it was actually time for the final mission of the first district and part of game. They had us go into the sewers and fight through tons of Reapers, which are these red enemies in the Neon District, but that was all to lead us to the final boss fight against Sasha, who was like the leader of them because she can create this goo that once infecting people turns them into the Reaper army she has. And the fight itself against her was actually pretty fun. You had to parkour around to not fall into the goo, but then also avoid any attacks she sends your way, until ultimately shooting her to knock her down. Then you rip out each of these little things sticking out of her, which are like these health points or something. I don't know what she's got growing on her, but she must be on multiple dating apps with all that fungus. However, once you beat her, a cutscene then played and shows Cole contemplating his life and seeing how he might turn into a bitter, evil person like Sasha due to his powers. But right as he was gonna put her down, an explosion happened and men in scary suits straight out of the Metro games pulled up to steal Sasha from us. So then Cole just landed in the next district of the game called the Warren District, which is basically just harder and has more different enemies than before. I also got 2 trophies after that. First for defeating Sasha, and then for taking over all of the Neon District because that was my last objective I had to do there. But inside of the Warren District, not much happened at the start of coming here because this game's story is kind of a slow burner. Eventually though, we did meet a dude who wanted to do PR for us, which is very odd. But he asked us which poster we prefer, and it's very obvious this is a good or evil moment. So I chose the good one, then got another trophy. I then just got a random combat trophy from killing 100 enemies while they were in the air for another trophy after. But then I did do the first story mission that gave a trophy, and it was from going around destroying these ships full of prisoners' engines, so the trash men, which is what the game calls the enemies on the Warren District, can't take people to use in the evil forces army. And after disabling all of the engines on the boats, I got this trophy right here. And while doing another mission after, which had us ride this bus through the city, I got a trophy from taking down 25 enemies while riding on the roof of a moving vehicle. And during that same mission, a few minutes later, I got another trophy right as I died because this mission is kind of hard, but it was from reaching max hero level. So I guess in this world, heroes can execute enemies and it's praised. Maybe America truly is back. But after that bus section ended, it segued into us having to climb a building full of enemies to save Trish, who was in captivity at the top of it by some more enemies. Ignore me blatantly shockwaving her so hard she flew off the screen. She's fine. She's fine. Look, she's fine. Also, since we are a hero right now, as the game says, Trish agreed to work with us on our relationship problems, which then popped this trophy. I then spent an hour and a half more of playing the game's story until we reached the next trophy. And it was actually from the boss battle against the Warren District's leader, who was named Alden. And he's basically just an evil, short, old man with a lot of power. The fight was also entirely against this machine he made, so he's kind of like Iron Man except with negative aura and bitches. But once we won, a cutscene then played again like usual, and it showed us Alden dying. However, he was faking it and requested to team up with us against Kessler, who was the big scary guy behind everything. However, Cole hesitated, so then Alden just jumped off the bridge, but he's fine, don't worry. So then the game led us into the historical district, which is the final one and has the final enemies inside of it, the First Sons. A bit more threatening name for enemies opposed to the garbage men from before. Also, here's that trophy from the story. Anyways, almost right away in the historical district, we got confronted by Kessler and had a very massive story moment mission. It had us first go around and defuse some bombs that people were trapped inside of, but that's not important, because the ending led us to a critical choice. You either save like 10 people people on the left building from a bomb, or save Trish alone on the right building from a bomb. And I, for some reason, chose to save Trish because I thought it was the good choice, seeing as it's the love of Cole's life. And the 10 people were just randos, but I guess it's not. And also, it wasn't even Trish. She's already dead. So yeah, Trish dies no matter what you choose here, and I got the evil trophy. I then went and replayed that mission through the safe selection, and I did do the good option to keep up with what I was supposed to be doing, and I got the good trophy after. By the way, they both ended in the same way though, so that's kind of lame. The next hour of gameplay, however, in this district was kind of bland and had us teaming up with a dude named John, who was actually a good guy that wanted to help us, unlike basically everyone else we've met. And we worked together to chase down the Ray Sphere, which is this ultra powerful mechanism that can give Conduit's powers, and it's what gave Cole his at the beginning of the game. But upon finding it, you are posed with the option to destroy it or activate it again and get stronger. Seeing as it's the good playthrough though, we just destroyed it, but that sadly did lead to another explosion, and John is no longer here. We don't know where he went, probably to heaven. However, I did get another story trophy anyways. But that was the last mission before we did face off against Kessler in a massive and long boss fight. This fight is insanely hard, but I also did not utilize all the tools at my disposal, so it's kind of my fault for dying multiple times like it always is. However, you basically just have to keep damaging him and dodging his attacks, and that's about it, until he gets to 0 and you do one final spam X and drag cursor event to punch him, and then a cutscene plays to end off the game. It exposes a ton of lore, and I'll sum it up real quick. Basically, Kessler is Cole, but from the future. Kind of cool. And in Kessler's world, he wasn't strong enough to stop the evil that will come, so his entire world got destroyed pretty much, and he made it his goal to rip all of the emotions from Cole so he would rise to the occasion and save the world instead of indulge in his own safety selfishly. And yeah, that's it. A bunch of credits then played, and once they finished, I got a trophy from beating this game with hero status. So now it's time to go back and do a very boring cleanup of this game's collectibles, and some combat trophies that I tried to get, but mostly failed to do. The first trophy I did get during this cleanup, however, was called Dr. Cole from healing 250 citizens. And I have been doing this whenever I saw throughout the whole game so far to help, because 250 is a lot of bodies. Only fans girls can relate. And before really chasing after collectibles, I was also trying to just nail out the stunt list, which took me multiple hours to get because it's so damn hard to do some of these. However, only like 1 or 2 were really annoying. The rest were kind of just meh, but it really does just take patience or insanity, whichever you prefer. So here it is once I finally did do it and achieved inner peace. I then got a trophy from unlocking every hero upgrade possible, so here is that. Followed with me riding a moving train for 2 kilometers next, but then I did just strap in for like 4 hours straight and do collectible trophies. It was insanely boring and it took a very long time to do, but since they had maps available and I was crossing out collectibles as I went, I didn't miss any, which was a great feeling. So here's all of those trophies as I got them, and yeah, that's basically it for this stage of the game. Stage 2 time is now here, and much like the previous Infamous game I did, it functions in almost the same way. You just be evil this time. Also, it is on hard difficulty now, so it's quite a bit more challenging. And like in that video, I am not going to re-explain the whole story, just the changes within the evil choices. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit disappointed with this game's variety and story changes between the good and evil choices. Almost all of the core things remain the same, with the only real changes in gameplay is that Cole sounds more angry and he looks more dead inside. That's about it. But the first evil choice was to kill people at the supply drop, so here's that trophy. And the change here was that Trish is now angry at us. Boo-hoo, she's gonna f***ing die anyways. Then you did the riot and attacked the police from inside the mob. Almost nothing changes here, but a different trophy did still pop. I then took a break from the story grind for a minute and got a trophy from draining a ton of power from the city, which is almost impossible to do naturally and basically requires this method of just draining an infinite generator in the sewers. So I drained it till the trophy popped, and here it is. I then did that train mission again, and I'm not sure what makes this evil. I think just doing it as a villain does, because in the cutscene, Cole just shoots a man for fun, and then you get an evil trophy pop. I then picked the evil poster option this time, opposed to the good one before, for another trophy. And when we saved Trish once more atop a building, she was mad at us and refused to talk to us anymore. Single life, baby, I know it all too well. Anyways, then we reached that moment where you choose to destroy or activate the sphere, and this time we activated it, getting even stronger and more evil trophies. It was then the Kessler fight again, and oh my god, for a second I couldn't even damage the guy with how hard this fight became. I literally died like probably 35 times in this fight with hard mode on. It's actually insane how much harder it got. But you can kind of cheese it by just using your shield a lot, which can block most of the damage he sends your way. And once I won, the same ending cutscenes played. Not much of a change besides us just completely ruining the city, and it's kind of a wasteland now. But I did get 2 trophies for finishing it on evil and then the hard mode as well. All that remains now is for me to again just go get some cleanup trophies. However, this time they were much more combat orientated as opposed to collectibles, because we don't really need to get all of those again. And the first one I did farm was getting 50 kills from sticking enemies with grenades. It took me all game to do, but finally I got it. I then just thunder dropped for a total of 500 meters after for another trophy. I traveled 25 kilometers on rails for another easy one as well, and I got 100 high fall takedowns. Then that led me to reach maximum evil level for that trophy in addition. I then spent about an hour just farming bio leeches on enemies to get 100. This is the reverse of the heal 250 people trophy, by the way, but it's even worse because it can only be done on enemies and not just citizens. So that sucks, but I still did do it here for the trophy. I then had to farm a few more kills on a moving train, which is kind of hard to do post story, but there is still enemies who spawn in occasionally when on the train, so you just have to be prepared to kill them. And my final trophy was then to just get full upgrades on all evil upgrade paths. And I had to finish 15 evil side missions to do this as well, which was stupid. So I then had to replay evil missions over and over and over again. These, however, do feature the most change compared to the good side missions because you like team up with evil enemies and it's kind of cool to be honest. But once I finished 15, I bought the upgrade. Then the trophy popped with the platinum right along with it. So that was the infamous platinum trophy experience. Once the f***ing thing syncs with PlayStation Network. Overall, I think the game was good. I didn't really enjoy it as much as the newest Infamous game, primarily due to it just being too old to play now. Like, the game looks like shit, let's be real, and that's mostly due to PS3 quality. But also the parkour and gameplay was very sticky at times and not smooth, which led to some annoyance, deaths, and frustration. Rating out of 10, I'll give Infamous a solid 7. So yeah, that's all. I'm gonna be bald soon, and I hate you. Thanks for watching though.